All right, the time is 4 o'clock. I will call the City of Fort Atkinson Plan Commission meeting to order in person and via Zoom, Tuesday, February 10th, 4 p.m. Roll call, please.
Chairperson Manager Husband.
Here.
Director of Public Works.
Here.
Council Representative Schultz.
Here.
Commissioner Hassanich.
Here.
Miss Commissioner Shaw.
Here.
Director of Neighborhood Services.
Here.
Clerk, Treasurer, Finance Director.
Here.
Or anybody I missed?
Think you got everybody. All right, thank you for that. On to number 3, which is new business. We have review and possible action relating to the minutes of the January 27th, 2026 Plan Commission meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Commissioner Scholl.
I would second.
Thank you, Commissioner Kesnick. We have a motion and a second on the floor. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Item 3B is review and possible action relating to a site plan review for Willow Ridge Apartments located at 916 Madison Avenue. This is site plan review 2026-01. Director Drager, please.
Oh, thank you. Yes, so this is just like to point out this development here. The developer, we worked with them, city staff, I should say, worked with them over a couple different variations of this project, and ultimately it came down to using the existing structure and redeveloping it for a 5-unit apartment building. The financial aspect of it just didn't work out according to them, and so, but they were very helpful in working through the different site plan requirements for the city as regards to pavement reduction there and the exterior of the building, parking requirements, removing existing structures that no longer fit. And I believe they came forward with a decent proposal here. There are a few things that are lacking on the site plan when it comes to landscaping is shown, but it does not give the points that are required, as you'll see in the recommended recommendations for the approval at the end there, that some of those items will be required. Existing lighting at the site and proposed lighting was not mentioned, but there was a large amount of pavement that is proposed to be removed here. Reduction in parking, setbacks and required buffers are being proposed. Overall, it is also, increasing the number of living units available in the city to 5 additional units. There are 1 to 2 bedrooms each, with 3 on the first floor, 2 on the second floor. As I said, there are a few items that will need to be filled. Some of the recommendations are pedestrian access from Clout, which will go to the front of the building, as well as some paved access to the trash structure in the rear of the property. There are some existing site conditions that don't meet the current ordinance, but are not proposed to be changed, so they are not applicable in this situation. That would be the access off of Clout, which doesn't have the queuing distance that is required in the ordinance, as well as the width is existing and was recently installed, I believe, last year when Clout was redone, or it could have been the year before. But those existing accesses are proposed to remain the same. So with that, there are several improvements on the site. The number of parking spaces meet our requirements. There is no maximum when it comes to straight residential parking, but they did keep it to a minimum, as well as, but trying to provide enough parking spaces for what they believe they need on the site. With that, I read off the recommended actions there. Like I said, there are a few other things, the setbacks of the existing property. But once again, I do want to point out that this is an existing structure and they are not proposing to remove the structure. They're taking a portion of the structure off the top level, if you will, and replacing the upper portion. So the existing footprint of the building is set to remain as it is. So those setbacks and the rear pavement setback and some of those items don't really come into play this because there's no proposed change to those. With that, and then I'll go through those recommended actions here as soon as I find them. City staff does recommend approval of the site plan subject to the following conditions. Requiring the applicant to add a sidewalk connection from the existing sidewalk along Clout, as I mentioned. Require the applicant to add a paved walkway to the dumpster enclosure. Require the applicant to add curbing on all paved areas facing Madison Avenue. That detail was not provided there, so we don't really know if they're proposing that or not. So just want to put that on as a recommendation as a requirement. Allow the minimum throw depth of less than 25 feet in that existing approach. And then require the applicant to provide the photometrics plan and lighting fixture cut sheets, the mechanical locations and the proposed screening of those since they must be screened. Materials and the height of the dumpster enclosure in the rear, and then a landscaping plan with the species identified so that those points can be verified. And then I would welcome any questions on this proposal.
All right, thank you. Are there questions from the Plan Commission for Director Drager on this project?
Jed, could you remind us what the recommended parking stall size is?
It's 1.5 is the recommended typical for our zoning ordinance is 1.5 per unit.
I think
Okay.
she's referring to the
Yeah.
size.
Oh, size.
Width
So-
Size of the stall.
length.
9 foot wide is the width is what is in our zoning ordinance. But our ordinance does allow for a reduction of that when it is seen as necessary or appropriate.
Okay, 9 foot wide by how long?
I believe it's 16 depth.
Okay,
Look through that. Have it in my memo here, but
And Jed, do you
I thought-
recall if there's a site plan that shows the length and width of those parking spaces?
they're 8 by 16, I believe.
Okay.
I just think it's a little odd or awkward to have that one stall isolated from the rest of them.
Mhm.
And since it's 1.5 per unit, I don't know if maybe keeping them all together, so, there isn't that, it just seems like I don't know, kind of a strange approach there from the alley. And then, having to have additional lighting
Mhm.
back there and just
They-
doesn't seem as secure to me. If you could maybe,
Yeah, the applicant had proposed actually 2 spots towards that location so that they could keep those 2 parking spaces for that unit,
okay,
that access there.
Uh-huh.
But our required setbacks from the property line did not allow for that.
I see, okay. I was just thinking maybe make, 8 stalls in the main parking area, make them a little larger, but keep them all together. But that was my comment.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think one of the discussions we had on this project was referring in reference to the number of parking stalls and keeping them on the site. The access point off of Clout and the alleyway in the back there and trying to avoid tenants from parking in that alley and having to park further up on Clout.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
I think the goal of the applicant for that one particular space that the cursor's on right there was just to be close to the door of the unit that it's serving. So there's the door for that unit right
Sure.
there.
Yeah. One thing I do want to point out with this project is this started off as a much larger project as I started off with the beginning of this, and it was reduced down to the size to accommodate the budget for it. As an overall project, this is a use that's permitted by right. I just want to point out the applicant was very helpful in making these site improvements, whereas they could have just simply remodeled the building and made these changes and not done anything to the site, and there wouldn't have been any approvals necessary for that.
Thanks, good to know.
So remind me, Jed, this is in the UMU Urban Mixed Use Zoning District.
Correct.
And this 5-unit apartment building, as well as its previous use as a mixed use building with office and a single residential unit upstairs, they are all permitted by right.
Correct.
Okay, other questions for Mr. Drager from the Plan Commission?
Hi, Council Representative Schultz. Question about like that alley usage. We got an email earlier today. Is there any requirement that that alley has to be like maintained for like snow clearance or to assist like DPW and street clearing to push snow to a certain area? I'm trying to understand the um, concern from the resident that emailed us earlier today.
So the alley behind this building is still a public alley. So it is still access point. It is still can be used for any member of the public to go behind this property. The alley east of here, not sure if maybe one of these can, yeah, this shows,
Yep.
oops. Has been vacated.
Okay.
So this is the extent of the current alley. And then, so this shows existing conditions. This does not show what's proposed. So just keep that in mind as you're looking at this. But there is concrete on the east side of the building here right now. There will be additional grass here. I think the property owner to the east did send an email expressing some concerns of the individual parking here would be using the adjacent property for ingress and egress. However, with the change in the paved surface for this site, that's not as much of a concern for me because the vacated alley is still paved. However, I think the traffic movement that individual was concerned about was, moving right out into this. Let's see if there is an easy way for me to. He's gonna be challenged here, but maybe I can pull up something. Let's see if there's another tab here.
And we did have a GIS view in the packet, but it's in the memo, so
Was
probably
there?
a little small.
Okay. Um, all right. Now we got to get to the right spot here.
I think you're right on it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, bear with me here. So this is the aerial. So you can see the subject property here is paved, corner to corner right now. In addition, this is the property to the east there. That's also paved right to the property line. So this, with the new site plan, a lot of this pavement's going to be removed, especially the pavement along this side. So I would not anticipate that the tenant here would use this area for ingress and egress. However, that also can be addressed simply between the tenant and the landlord with expressing a prohibition on crossing property that isn't theirs to cross and using the access points provided.
Got it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so let me go back on. Now I don't know what I did here. Hold on.
I'm impressed you could find that.
Okay, so we're back to the packet. I believe we're not in the right one. Hold on. Okay, thank you for everybody for your patience on that. So we're still at the discussion point amongst the Plan Commission. So does the Plan Commission, well, we're not at discussion yet, excuse me. We're at questions for Director Drager. Are there any additional questions or for Mr. Drager with this for this site plan?
Mm-mm.
Okay, hearing none, the staff did make a recommendation for approval of this project, subject to conditions outlined in the staff report. I believe there are 6 conditions, if I remember correctly. Yes, there are 6 conditions. Is there a motion among the Plan Commission to approve the project subject to those 6 conditions?
So moved.
Okay, that was
Second.
Councilman Schultz. Oh. John, looks like John Chicarelli has joined us. Commissioner Chicarelli is.
I'm on a cell phone, spotty coverage on my way home from Milwaukee Airport.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Is there a second for discussion amongst the Plan Commission on this matter?
Second for discussion.
All right, thank you for that. Okay, discussion amongst the Plan Commission.
Ciccarelli here. I'm looking at the interface between the parking in front of the building and the building itself and wondering whether it's actually going to be workable when you park a car and offload it and get into your apartment, and wondering whether a crosswalkway in front of the building would be more functional. So it's sort of a question for Director Draver to see whether the parking stalls, there's enough total depth of the lot to pull those stalls away from the building by, I don't know, 5 feet in order to form a cross aisle.
I don't have an exact depth of that parking lot, but I do believe there would be room to back up those parking spaces to allow for that walkway through there. And I think that would work well with that pedestrian path coming from Clout.
Right. That's the thought there. I've sent in written comments, which are not anything that would be required of the applicant. Suggestions for secure bike parking or storage for the residents, entirely optional and not required. And suggestion on fenestration of the gables. Those details are already transmitted to Michelle, the clerk, so they're in hand.
Okay,
I don't know what, this is Commissioner Kesnick. I don't know what John submitted as far as fenestration on the gables, but I would like to see the windows on those gables either centered on the gable or separated, between, instead of 2 double windows right next to each other, 2 single windows that are centered on the gable just for balance purposes.
This is John again. The reason I believe that the window is oriented the way it is actually centered on the living room.
Right.
But the living room has a little corner closet in the outside corners of the left apartment and the right apartment. And so centering the window on the interior space results in being off center on the gable. My thought, and this is just a thought, would be to double the width of the window and put essentially another window of the same size to the left for the left apartment, to the right apartment. So you get more window space in the living rooms. It looks symmetrical from the outside, and it's a whole lot more light during the winter. Just a suggestion.
I like that.
we can certainly direct staff to work with the applicant on some of these suggestions, but I think what we do need to determine as a Plan Commission is what the site plan approval is based on and what what is conditioned on the site plan approval and what is not. So I think that the backing the parking spaces 5 feet off the building, I think that would be an appropriate addition to the conditions of approval if the Plan Commission makes that motion and second and approves that. However, the windows, additional windows or moving windows, I think would be a better suggestion for staff to work with the applicant to see if that is feasible or if there are other reasons those windows are the size and shape that they are.
I have another question and it regards parking and perhaps the site requirements. Uh, if is there a way in front of the building to go to say 8.5 foot stalls by moving one of the stalls somewhere else along the frontage? I don't know enough about the ins and outs of that particular parking lot design, but I'm thinking 8 feet seems really narrow as far as door swing and being able to actually park a car in the winter. So just a question.
Staff can work with the applicant to see if we can reduce or increase the width. I see there is some space there, which looks to be maybe some ADA and some walk paths. If they're bringing another path off of Clout for pedestrian access, they may be able to eliminate one of those. In general, the zoning ordinance does try to eliminate or reduce the amount of parking up front along Madison Avenue or a street such as that. So I don't think the ordinance would be intend on encouraging additional parking up in that area.
For example, you're referencing potential parallel parking along in the parking lot, but along the Madison Street frontage.
Correct.
Yeah, and I agree with that. There is some landscaping there, but having vehicles parked parallel to the road there, I think would be the aesthetics would not be great for that. But that is definitely something that staff can work with the applicant on relating to the potential for 8.5 foot parking spots as well as the suggestions on the windows.
Thank you. No further questions or input.
Okay. Okay, we do have a motion and a second on the floor to approve this, subject to the 6 conditions in the staff report. The Plan Commission did discuss an additional condition, and that is moving the parking about 5 feet towards Madison from the building in order to accommodate the sidewalk that is actually already recommended as a condition of approval by staff. So is let's see, Councilmember Schultz, you made the motion. Would you be willing to amend your motion to include that 7th condition?
Yes.
Okay. And Commissioner Ciccarelli, you seconded. Is that a friendly?
Yes, second. I would leave it up to Director Drager to see whether 5 feet is adequate. That was just a initial number.
Okay. So we do have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the site plan subject to the 7 conditions, the 6 outlined in the staff report, plus the 7th condition about the walkway and moving the parking further towards Madison Road. Are there any final questions or comments from the Plan Commission on this matter? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Thank you all. Let's see, find my agendas now. Item 3C is presentation to the Plan Commission on a Premier Real Estate Management LLC concept plan for 6 12-unit multifamily buildings along Meadow Lane. Mr. Drager, if you could please present the staff report, and we do have representatives from the applicant here as well.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I just want to point out once again, this is a concept plan. So these plans do show us, once again, a concept, but there's a great amount of detail that is not in these plans. And that's kind of the reason for the concept plan, to kind of get some feedback from this Plan Commission on the proposed layout and many other aspects of this. When it comes to fire lanes or fire distances and those factors that come into the site plan, those technical details, stormwater and all that stuff, that'll all be addressed during the formal review of this. But staff and the applicant did want to bring this forward to to gauge the interest or gauge the opinion from Plan Commission on this. As you can see, there are 6 proposed buildings with multiple units in each. You'll see a roundabout up by Meta.
Cul-de-sac.
Excuse me, cul-de-sac. Yes. That's quite a bit different. We don't want that. Yes, the cul-de-sac up by Meta. As you can see there, which would be the access at this point. Staff does want to point out that there is Commonwealth does come in towards the southern portion of the property. So that would be part of discussion on this as far as creating additional access or possible access to that. You'll see in the packet and in the plans there that that is a possible location where they'll be bringing utilities in. Once again, there are many site details that are here, but overall, staff did look at this project and think it is a fitting project for this location. There are quite a few approvals that would have to happen in this, so there'd be a proper vetting of this project for sure. It would be a group development because of the number of buildings, principal buildings require a zoning map amendment, as well as a certified survey map to combine the 2 lots. The proposed zoning does have an adjacent property that would match that zoning, which would eliminate any concerns with spot zoning. So it would be appropriate. Very similar. That one is a condo association. We're not really sure. This would be more of a rental, but the zoning itself and the use of the parcel would be very similar. The zoning of this property currently is suburban mixed use, which does not permit standalone residential. So that would be the purpose for the zoning map amendment. Once again, as I just explained, it does appear to be appropriate and is backed up by the city's comprehensive plan as planned mixed use, which would allow for standalone residential. With that, there are many details, like I said, that we will be coming across with the formal review. But I would welcome any questions. And as Manager Hausman mentioned, there are representatives here from the applicant that probably could answer further details, questions, and give some answers to those. And I would welcome any questions you may have.
Let's start with questions from the Plan Commission for Mr. Drager.
So Commissioner Chickenarelli, concerning Commonwealth, I look in I believe it's a figure in the general plan. It may actually be the snippet that was included in the packet. Commonwealth may in the future be considered for extending west and then bending south along the east edge of the bypass. And so I wonder whether the future submittals might want to address the future state of Commonwealth.
As far as future travel to the south along the bypass, given the wetlands and the lands and soils that are there, staff does not feel that would be something that would be in the future plan at this point. That is likely why the road was dead-ended where it is to this property as being most likely the last remaining parcel before the bypass that's developable.
Commonwealth is by far the most direct pedestrian route and bicycle route as well to the many things nearby, including the high school and Pick and Save that are easily accessible on foot or on pedals. So I think a connection to Commonwealth, which would also serve EMS and trash service and such, definitely support that.
Thank you. Additional questions for Mr. Drager? The applicants in the audience, are you interested in presenting anything additional about your project?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else.
Well, I think if you would like to come up to the microphone and please introduce yourselves for the record.
Sure. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Emily McFarland. I'm with Pre3, and this is Bob Murray.
Hello.
Also online is the engineer that we usually work with, Jared from Robert E. Lee. So if there's any questions in particular to that, Jared can respond to those. We did include in the packet a little bit of marketing around who we are, the type of product that we're proposing to build here, some example photos. So we're happy to address any questions y'all may have about finishes or respective layouts. And if there's any questions about who we are as an organization, we're happy to answer those too.
Thank you. And thank you for being here tonight. Are there any questions from the Plan Commission for the applicant? Okay. Is there more feedback from the Plan Commission relating to this concept, right? We understand we're very early on in the stage of this project, but our applicant has provided this concept plan in order to get feedback at this early stage so that those comments can be incorporated into additional site plans when those land use applications come back to this body, and some of which will go to the city council for review as well. So if there are comments, now would be the time from the Plan Commission.
Commissioner Chickarelli,
Yes, go ahead.
in case I couldn't make the meeting. Uh,
You're going in and out a little bit, John. We do have your written comments. We will provide those to the applicant, so we make sure that the applicant has those. I will note that there are garages embedded, for lack of a better word, in these buildings. So there are garages. Maybe you can tell us how many garage spaces per unit and how many parking spaces per unit you typically do with these projects?
Yeah, so each apartment home has a single car attached garage that goes directly into their home, which I think is a nice, unique feature of the layouts that we traditionally offer. We also have a guest stall, and we'll have a additional visitor stall. We were just at a presentation last night, and it ends up being around 3 stalls, the garage, and in front of your garage, and then a visitor stall. Jared, if you have exact numbers on stalls, you're welcome to jump in.
I think you did a good summary of that. The intent is to be right around that 3 per unit, knowing that we don't necessarily prioritize the stalls behind the garage as desired parking stalls, but inevitably tenants tend to park there. So certainly an appropriate summary that you provided, Emily.
I think as we move further, you'll get additional feedback, but pedestrian connectivity is very important in this area, so I think we would like to see the buildings connected to each other with sidewalk, as well as if there is that additional access to Commonwealth, which I'm pretty sure if the wetlands allow it, our fire department would certainly want that access as well.
I think you hit the nail on the head on that one. The wetlands are really going to dictate a lot of that in that area of the parcel.
Yep. And then I also see there is an office space. Can you tell us a little bit about the office and the other?
Yeah, we can give you a little background on us.
Sure.
So our we're called Pre3, and we're based out of Brookfield, and we've been in business since the late 1970s. And we develop in Wisconsin only, and in communities just like Fort Atkinson. And we build what it doesn't look like it, but this is really considered low density multifamily development. So it's 2-story. And our goal, and we've been designing the same 12-unit building and refining the design over many, many years, is to provide living for a few different types of people. One is we find a lot of people that move into our residence are people that are empty nesters or are elderly looking to move out of their homes and into something where they don't have to worry about maintenance or anything else, since that's our first floor tenants. And then we also, because of the cost of housing is so expensive right now, we have a lot of people that are starting out and people that are divorced that just can't go out and buy another house right now, or nurses and attorneys and doctors and you're just general everybody that they can't buy a house right now, which is most people. That's who we cater towards. So we have these 12-unit designs, and they're designed to be like homes, meaning that everybody has a garage that you can go right from the garage right into your unit, even if you're upstairs. There's a door that it's your own personal stairwell up to your unit. They're all 2 bedroom, 2 bath with large walk-in closets, full-size washer dryer, and everybody has a full bath for each bedroom. That's what we consider today to be a very modern unit. And because of the way we design it, we find that people stay there longer. So nationwide, you find the national average every year, about 40% of the people relocate every year. We find in this design, because we manage about at least seven, yeah, it'd be 18,000 units, but of this design, at least probably 6,000 units of it, that we see the average turn of closer to 20 to 25%. So it's a design where people treat it as their home, and that's really what we shoot for. And a lot of times when people move, their next step is to buy
Turn right onto US
out of
Southwest.
where you know. So that's what our design is. We try to do 5 to 7 new developments across Wisconsin every year. And Fort Atkinson is the exact type of community that we like to develop in and provide living in. And Jefferson County is obviously growing quite a bit. And this is a perfect product type for the new residents in Jefferson County.
For the on-site office.
Oh yeah, sorry, but on-site office.
So we believe in having on-site management. I think in the world of multifamily, that's somewhat of a dying concept. Especially with the number of units we have here, we like to have a space for people to be able to access a property manager, and be able to have a common space for mail. So we intend to have, in this development, an office with a property manager.
Excellent, thank you. And I do agree with on-site management. And you answered one of my questions, which is, do you typically own and manage your buildings, or do you sell them? Seems like you own and manage them.
Yeah, so we manage of the units that we developed. We've actually just looked at this. Of the units that we've developed in the last 9 or 10 years, we still manage about 83% of those. So we're in the business. Our owner is one gentleman. He really is, been doing real estate for decades and is just kind of looking at continuing to expand and build a really nice portfolio, a generational portfolio. And so what that allows us to do is really build a really nice product. We're not looking to build and then not manage these properties in 3 years or in 5 years. We manage them for the long term. And so we tend to invest in finishes and design on the beginning side of that project so that we're not dealing with it down the road on the property management side.
Sure. Last question for me. Do you intend to have this be a market rate development?
Yeah, so this is market rate. For us, normally Bob mentions when he talks about our tenants, our goal really is to stay in that 30% range for affordability. Now, I'm going to be honest, 30%, according to the government, is like all in rent, utilities, insurance, the whole kit and caboodle. We try our best to keep that percentage for rent around that 30% number. And so sometimes that requires partnership, but we go into this with the goal of having, Bob mentioned nurses. You could also have a household making $80,000 a year, $75,000 a year, which is, $25, $30 an hour between two people. So affordability is what we're aiming for. Market rate is what we build. We do from time to time purchase non-market rate. So I always disclaimer that in case people look at our portfolio, you may see Section 42 housing that we have purchased and manage, but what we develop is all market rate.
Sure.
Anything you want to add to that?
Okay. You've answered all of my questions. I appreciate that. Are there any other questions or feedback or comments from the Plan Commission relating to this project?
I have a question. How did you hear about this property or come in contact with the city about this site for development?
Sure. So, in full disclosure, I used to be the mayor of the city of Watertown, and I love Jefferson County. And Rebecca does an excellent job of advocating for the needs of this community. And when the opportunity came within my first couple of weeks at Pre-3 to look for where we could potentially build, I think I might have said Fort Atkinson right away. And because the housing need is substantiated here, I mean, the county's done a tremendous job of validating that. And the community has done a great job of advocating for that. And for us, we're fully aware of the manufacturing growth in the county, and we want to be a part of that solution for where people live. And so that's how Fort Atkinson got on the radar. This property for us in particular happened. We typically come to communities, meet with folks, and drive around a little bit. And we drove around and saw this property, and then Bob does his broker magic and talks to landowners.
Yeah, there was a sign on the site, so
Yeah.
took him a couple months to get back to me, but eventually he did. When he called, I kind of forgot about it, but that's how we found the site. It was through the sign and then through, Emily bringing us to Fort Atkinson.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
One last comment, and I know some comments we will hear is that Fort Atkinson is a bedroom community. However, through the retail market study that was done, actually the opposite is true. We actually have net influx of workers. So we're the opposite of a bedroom community. And I do believe that need for more housing within the city is needed and necessary. And so I'm excited for this project if it goes forward.
Great. Glad to hear that.
Thank you. All right. There is no action by the Plan Commission necessary for this item as it is just a concept plan. We will continue to work with the applicant on next steps, and they will be on the agenda as they're noticed, and we have the submissions from the applicant. So
The only thing I would just offer is as you hear from your constituents, if there's feedback that comes up, we're happy to hear that at any point, especially in this phase where we're still working out site plans. So if anything comes up between this meeting and the future meetings that we appear at, please just share that with us and we'll do our best to address it. Awesome.
Thank you.
thank you.
guys.
Thank you very much
you.
for being here, and thank you for your presentation. All right. Next item on the agenda, 3D, is update on previously approved projects. I'd be happy to answer any questions from the Plan Commission on previously approved projects. Okay, I believe that was an appropriate pause, so I will go ahead and move on to item number 4, which is adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
I will second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 We are adjourned at 4:42 p.m. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.